My name is Jake Garrard. My title is City Engineer for the City of Cape Girardeau.
I'm Stacy Kinder. I'm the mayor here in Cape Girardeau.
I was a part of TTF 4 as a project manager. I was in charge of some of the specific projects that were voted on. And TTF 5 and 6, I was able to expand and help with the planning of TTF 5 and 6, do some estimating up front, help it with the vote, and then I was a project manager on some of the specific projects once they were voted on.
I've been involved in the TTF process in several ways. Of course, the City Council ultimately has to put the final approval of the initiative on the ballot, and so that's our job, is to hear from the committee and get that done. The mayor here has traditionally been responsible for putting that initial citizen committee together, which is a lengthy process for those folks. They take about 6 months in working with city staff to help suss through all the various potential projects for the next TTF program, and so that's what they did. And then it comes to the City Council to discern whether to put it on the ballot or not. We of course did that, and I'm now helping. There's now a campaign committee to further get the word out and help educate citizens. So TTF stands for Transportation Trust Fund. It in 1995 was a program developed as a way to help the city create large-scale, expensive road construction projects, road remodel projects, and also gives a great deal of funding for just the annual maintenance issues that our city departments deal with every day. Prior to 1995, I believe there were several initiatives to try to get some kind of transportation funding tax before the voters, and several of them were denied. I think then what happened was creating the TTF program, creating the process by which a citizen group works with staff and really tries to solicit public input and also promote that information back out to the public, was the reason in 1995 the first TTF probably saw some initial victory, if you will.
Before it was in place, citizens were tax billed for their roadway. So a lot of our residential improvements, the owners had to pay for their roadways to be upgraded. So per footage, I don't think that is a good solution for our residents, for our motorists, but that was what we had before TTF.
The TTF sunsets in 5 years. And so since 1995, every 5 years, we have gone back to the public, created a plan, a specific construction plan or renovation plan, and gone back to the public and said, here is the list for the next 5-year program. Do you vote yes or no? And every time since 1995, that the citizens have voted yes. The TTF is it's actually a sales tax, and it is part of the sales tax that we pay every day here in Cape for anything we buy. It's a small portion of that goes directly and specifically towards these road projects.
It is used for roadway improvements, both maintenance and specific large-scale projects. The positives of TTF, the vast majority of our street repairs, of our funding for maintenance and new construction on our roadways comes from our transportation tax fund. If that fund is not available, even going out for grants or cost shares on roadways would be more difficult, because we have a steady funding source where we can match federal funding, where we can match state funding through our transportation money to stretch those dollars even further.
When you look at when visitors and even citizens, when they look at a street and if it's in disrepair, that gives you a certain perception of what the city how the city's doing or what kind of city you're looking at. And so it's for that reason alone, it's important to have these reconstruction projects. But then, as we all know, just being able to get around, not have to deal with the concern about blowing out a tire or injuring hurting your car in some way with a big giant pothole, those are important too. I drive around Cape Girardeau every day, from every corner, back and forth. And, in all parts of our city, there are potholes, there are cracks in the pavement, there are issues that then develop over time into large issues. Quite frankly, if we didn't have this project or this program, the city wouldn't have a way to, either to develop new roads or to launch these massive reconstruction projects that are needed over time.
The Lexington Avenue project, a piece of it was done with our TTF 5 from Sherwood to Cape Rock Drive. That piece was done about 2017. It's still holding up very nicely. TTF 6 saw the two pieces of Lexington on either side of the last chunk. Those are in process now. The eastern end is about complete. The western end, they're starting on construction. So that will be almost a brand new thoroughfare across the northern side of town.
One large project that comes to mind is all the work that's been done on Sprigg Street. Reconstruction of Sprigg Street was part of TTF 5 and then of TTF 6. And the last remaining chunk of Sprigg Street that needs to be reconstructed is on the TTF 7 proposal. People who are familiar with the city, of course, know that Sprigg Street runs north and south. It basically runs from almost the farthest southern point in the city to one of the most northern points in the city. It crosses over, I think, 3 different wards in our city. Other major arteries in Cape intersect with Sprigg Street. And so it's a heavily traveled road, and including for visitors who come to Cape. Anyone who enters the south part of the city might end up driving on Sprigg Street to get to the northern part of the city, to get to SEMO, to get to our downtown. So it's of large importance as a main artery in town. And it has taken several different TTF iterations to really get all of it, almost all of it, really updated. Sprigg Street, though, also has, in the TTF projects, has seen a lot of the streetscape improvements that are needed too. So it may include the sidewalks that for Sprigg Street are very important. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic on Sprigg Street in different areas. The street lighting is very important. So as far as infrastructure goes, it's when you think about these major arteries especially, it's very, very important.
Our West End Boulevard project that was part of TTF 5 from Rose to Bertling, that was a full streetscape. We were able to fix the underground water. We were able to fix the sanitary sewer. We worked on the stormwater quality in the area. A lot of localized flooding that our citizens had to deal with is now a non-issue. And the roadway itself, no major work had been done on West End for probably 25 years. So it was a very needed, very nice update to the neighborhood. I would say TTF that changed the kind of the look and the feel of Cape. If you want to go for more of a maintenance project, our Broadway project that was done with TTF 4, it went from Pacific to the riverfront. It changed the look of downtown. It opened up new economic opportunities for the downtown. If you're talking about new thoroughfares, our Veterans Memorial Drive project, that's an outer road to I-55 along the interstate. The sections that we have completed of that project have actually changed the roads, so to speak.
I think if you go back to TTF 2 and think about the TTF project that expanded and improved Seamers Drive. That is a prime example of something that has had a big impact on the city. So that project specifically, I think, widened Seamers Drive, added some traffic signals. And when you think about what is currently sitting at Seamers Drive, on Seamers Drive, I think you can connect the dots on the importance of the road project. That's where we see Target, Walmart, the movie theater, Sam's Club, Kohl's, Academy, Lowe's is there, Menards is there too. And then there's a large number of car dealerships, there's restaurants, there's other smaller retail. And the road infrastructure has directly impacted the ability to have that economic development there. Those large businesses would not be able to locate there if the street infrastructure couldn't handle the capacity of business that they require, frankly. So it's hard to separate those two, the development, the infrastructure, and the economic development issues. That's where you'll really see a real collaboration of those two issues working well together.
We have construction going on all over town. There are orange cones and detours everywhere. Please, as motorists, take those detours seriously. Please be very, very careful if you have to drive through our construction zones. Keep our workers safe. The safer they can work, the quicker they can work, and they can really make some things happen if they don't have to look over their shoulder and be very concerned about the motorists flying by. So just use caution in our construction zones. Use alternate routes if you can, and we'll get all our construction done. The TTF has whole-scale improved our roadways, whether it's residential roadways, some of our main thoroughfares. A lot of the work that has been done over the past 10 years, as far as maintenance and streetscapes go, has been funded through our TTF.
The TTF program is the main way the city is able to do these large-scale projects, and also the main way we were able to afford just the annual maintenance. So think of all the potholes. Think of a project that may involve 3 or 4 concrete panels instead of a half a mile of total street tear out and redo. Those kinds of smaller things are part of annual maintenance. And so if we don't have TTF, those things are simply not going to happen. We do not have another mechanism in which to gather basically millions of dollars to do these large-scale projects. There are several projects listed on TTF 7. Each of them run from roughly $3 to $5 million a piece, and we do not have another fund to make those things happen.